Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. All right, let's take a moment. We went from opening through ward off left and ward off right. So let's just go through that a couple of times. But before we do that, let's just take a moment and warm up our spines, standing with our feet shoulders width apart. Remember, perfectly straight. If you have the floorboards, use them to your advantage. Check in on your knees. Really important that they're nice and soft and not locked out, not too bendy, but just gently bent. All right, lower back, nice and relaxed. Head lifting up and shoulders hang down so we have that length through our whole spine. Let's just let go of any tension we have in the upper body and just swing from our waist, letting those arms turn from side to side. Just take a moment. Remember, we're trying to keep our hips relatively straight so that we're really turning from that middle body. The other option for this that sometimes might feel a little bit stiff is we can use that hug a tree shape. So we can come into that upper body position if you'd like. Nice hug a tree position, and we can turn from corner to corner. This is really effective in training our waist area and learning how to really turn from that middle body while keeping our legs nice and in line with our foot direction. But if we just want to let go of some tension for a moment, we can just let our body swing and just let those arms flow. Personal preference. I always want you to do what feels best for you. And then we'll slowly ease off and we'll come back. All right. Whew. All right. You ready to practice? Okay, let's get moving. So I'm going to turn the same way, and we're going to go through this a bunch of times, really emphasizing the footwork so that we can make that great bow stance for the next small sequence of movements. All right. So starting in prepare. Feet are shoulders width apart, perfectly straight. Again, run through that checklist. Head lifting up, shoulders down. Lower back relaxed, knees nice and soft, and that weight centered on your whole foot. Now remember, the fingertips brush the sides of the thighs, but the arms have that little piece of fruit underneath them, so we have energy flowing all the way down through the fingertips. Rotate the palms so that they face back, and then lift the arms up to shoulder height and shoulder width. Now let the upper arms go down, the forearms, and then the palms until they come sit in front of your hips. Shift your weight to the left. Turn everything 45 degrees on your right heel. Reaching that right arm out, bend the left arm underneath, close the arms, and then turning ward off left. Shift some weight to the right and turn on your left heel. Everything turns 45 degrees again. Rotate both arms and then bend that left arm underneath. So again, we close and step and then do ward off right. Okay, we're gonna run through this a few times, all right? So we're gonna hit checkpoints next and then we're gonna continue to flow, okay? So I really want you to make sure that we're hitting these key moments. So starting at prepare, nice alignment, and then let the arms float up to shoulder height and shoulder width apart. Now upper arms, forearms, and palms sink down. Okay, shift to the left, turning 45 degrees. Left arm went forward a little bit, right hand came back. Look at your foot. Did it turn just 45 degrees? Great. Okay. Now, left fingers will point down first, then bending. The palm faces the sky as we step out. So checking that closed position. Right hand's on top, left hand underneath. Weight is in the back leg. Now we're going to press down with that right palm. It passes over the center of the forearm. And we're going to lift the left arm up for ward off left. So check here, torso's vertical. That left arm is going to have nice length pointing to 3 o'clock. Now check in with your left front leg. Is the knee turned in or is it nice and in line with our foot direction? That's one of the most missed things here. And then that right hand's by your hip in front, not behind you, in front of your body. Okay, next, shift some weight back. Now remember, it's not just going to be your foot, it's the whole body turning. Okay, 45 degrees. Now shift your weight to the left. Left palm faces down, right fingers point down first. Then we bend that right arm underneath and we close the arms and step out. Now again, weights in the back leg till we hinge that right arm up, pressing down with the left palm, ward off right. Elbow and knee in line here, torso's turned, and that left hand is pretty close to the forearm, so that the fingers point to the forearm center. How did we do? Did we hit the checkpoints? Looks good. Don't worry, okay? It takes time, all right? This is all brand new, so it's gonna take time to feel more comfortable with just any aspect of this movement, okay? So let's start and prepare again. Let's run through it a couple of more times. So this is prepare, then we have opening. We rotate and we lift the arms up. Then pressing down. Ward off left. Shift to your left, turning 45 degrees to the right. Right arm reaches out, left arm bends underneath, and we step as we close the arms. Press down with the right arm, lift up with the left, looking to 3 o'clock. Okay, shift some weight to the right leg. Turn everything on that left heel. Okay, now we're gonna rotate both arms. So we're showing grabbing with that left palm, and that right arm's gonna bend underneath as we close and step. Then we hinge the arm up and press down with the left palm. Coming back just a little bit more. Yeah, yes and no. All right, let's do it again, okay? From prepare. Opening, rotate and lift. And then press down. Shift to the left and then turn towards your right. Right arm reaches out, left arm bends underneath. We close and step and then press down and lift up, go together into a bow stance. Vertical torso. Shift some weight back. Turn everything together. Now rotate both arms. Left palm faces down, right fingers. Close, so bending that right arm underneath. And then hinge it up. Ward off right. Yes, looks good. All right. Want to do it again? Okay, yes. This is really important, okay? Especially that transition. So if you have questions about moving from one bow stance to the other, please ask, because this is one of the harder transitions to nail right away when we learn the form, all right? So from prepare, opening, rotate and lift, trying to feel light and airy through the arms and strong and heavy through the legs as we press down. Shift to the left and then turn to the right. Right arm reaches out and then left arm bends as we close and step. Then pressing down and lifting up, go together for ward off left. Okay, this is that transition we want to nail. Shifting to the right. Now turn everything. So leg, waist, and arms turn 45 degrees. Take a look down at your left foot. They should both be going to the corner now. Yes. All right. So now from here, we're going to rotate both arms. Then we're going to bend that right one. And we're going to step out as we close the arms. So we're stepping straight to 3 o'clock. So our left foot is 45 degrees and our right foot is straight. Yes. Now hinge up and press down for ward off right. Did we do better with the footwork that time? Yes. Everyone. I just want to make sure that we feel confident in our footwork in that, because remember, that transition is setting us up to do 3 movements with that footwork unchanging, just shifting our weight back and forth. Yes.
I keep making what seems like a little mistake, but it turns out to mess up the whole thing. And I can't quite figure out how to get it right. It's at the very beginning.
Okay.
Let's see, we're shifting left and turning, you said to the corner, but I realized because I'm not, what happens if I turn to the corner is I'm not going out as much as 45 degrees. I have to actually go beyond the corner in my space.
Yes.
Because I'm not in the middle of the room.
Yes, that is so true. So we always want to imagine that we're that center line. And so it's going to be 45 degrees off of, say, just your other foot, you know? So for example, my room's very long. So if I was pointing my foot to this front corner, it would only be a tiny little bit. But if I'm imagining there's a square around me in space and I'm the center, then corner will be true 45 degrees.
Oh, okay, that made perfect sense. Now,
Okay.
how do I figure out? I mean, you figured out what the problem was, but how do I then find the 45 degrees? Because I'm screwing it up in going. I can
So
go way
you have
further.
floorboards, right?
What?
You have flooring.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yes, sort of.
So you use the lines on the floor so as straight, like especially if you have floor planks like that are connected and you have one that's connected there and one here, okay? You can turn that foot to the corner. I'm going to show you something really quickly here, okay? Just give me 1 second. We are going to do something that can be very, very helpful for our footwork. So, lovely roll of painter's tape here. So, if we take our floor and we make an X or a plus sign, I should say, depends on which direction you're going, right? With some painter's tape. This is a great way to train our footwork. So this is our 90 degrees, right? So if we stand, we're starting the form, we're using our right foot. So I'm going to mirror you. If I stand with my foot on that square, I shift and then I turn. It should be 45 degrees within that square, or to the corner direction of this portion of that plus sign, right? Or that grid. So that's what we're going for. So no matter where we are, that when our foot is to the corner, it's going to be here. So for example, okay, if I turn and face how I start the form, okay, I shift to the left and then I turn on my right heel to that 45 degrees. Okay, when I sink down and step out, this left foot is going to then follow this line, right? This first line, okay? When I shift back, both feet are gonna face to the same direction. And then I'm gonna shift and I'm gonna step out now following this line to the 3 o'clock direction. Does that help?
Yes.
You're unmuted.
Except that, well, you saw the way, except that I would have to look down at,
Oh,
I
absolutely.
What?
Absolutely. That's normal.
Okay.
I want you to look down while we practice, okay? When you're in the flow, and because you already know a lot of this section, right? So if you just want to feel the flow and you just want to practice, absolutely just let go. But when we're doing this practice together, take a moment and look down. Take that brief pause before we continue on so that you can set up your footwork, okay? Because really understanding and getting ourselves to this point where when we turn and that foot is perfectly 45 degrees is really going to help with our joints, with the stability in our legs, building the muscles so that they're all in alignment as we step out, so that we gain more balance. It all comes through this proper footwork. Okay. So absolutely take that time and look down so that later on you don't have to adjust your footwork. Okay. So that we start with good footwork now, and then we can just flow and we'll get that proper alignment when we want it. Okay. You're doing great. You're doing great. All right.
Well, no, I had it wrong, like either over or under every time, and it really messed up the next move.
But do you know what the thing is? You realized it.
Yeah,
And that's the big step. Okay. That first step is understanding what we're doing wrong. So having that feeling inside of where our body is in space and what we're supposed to be doing. Okay. That's a big part of Tai Chi. All right. So let's try it again. I'm going to stand on the tape for a moment. Okay. So from prepare. All right. Shoulders width apart. Beautiful stance. Perfectly straight. Okay. Opening is rotate and lift. Just letting those arms float up. Enjoying the softness through the upper body as we press down. Okay, now shift to your left and turn 45 degrees. Look down. How'd we do? Open a little bit more, right? Tape helps. Okay, now keeping that foot nice and solid, shifting. Now remember, you're stepping straight out, so follow the floorboards if you have them. Now press down and lift up. You should be in a beautiful bow stance for ward off left. Nice arms too. Yeah, check. Make sure we have that shoulders width apart space, right? We really have like a good bow stance because it all affects. We want to build our practice from the ground up. So nice straight front foot, back foot 45, and torso's vertical. All right, so we shift our weight to the right. Now remember, we're turning our left foot, but we're not just turning the foot. It's going to be the whole body turn. And look, did your feet match now? They're both pointing 45 degrees. This is that hard transition. We really want to nail this and take that time to check and make sure we hit 45. Because now is when we're going to go to our new bow stance. So we shift our weight to the left. We close our arms and draw our foot in when we're halfway, and then step wide enough to the straight. So see how it matches up the other blue line? It's perpendicular to your floorboards probably. Then up and down with the arms. I see you checking. How did you do? How are you doing?
me.
Still a little off?
I think I started with my feet not quite far enough apart, and so
That's okay.
something went wrong. But what I was going to ask is, when you do this move where one foot is already 45, and now let's see, we're shifting onto that and moving so that both are your legs look like how did I end up different? I don't know why.
Let me show you from a different direction, okay?
Okay,
So
you end up looking like you're just your whole body's 45 degrees, but I've got one foot in front of the other.
It's the width of your stance, okay? So normally we would go this way, okay? I'm gonna face you for a moment. Now this is not mirror image, okay? This is just facing you to show you the footwork standard, okay? We start and our left leg is forward, okay? When we shift and we turn, both feet are to the 45 degrees, okay? It looks like they're kind of on one line, but if I shimmied this foot and followed, it's more like this, okay? That they're offset. And this is because we're just in that bow stance, okay? So we're starting with shoulder width apart, right? So if we turn our right foot here and you turn your right foot to straight, you should very clearly have those two lines between your feet. So when we shift and turn, it's like a big wide plank, okay? It kind of looks like they're on the same line, but they're not really. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's kind of an optical illusion because of the Zoom screen.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. That's why this transition is so hard over Zoom, and I really want to have you feel confident in this transition because it is one of the hardest transitions to learn over Zoom. I've seen it when meeting with people in person. So I really want you to be able to lock it in. Okay. So if we start, let's just do the footwork. Okay. So starting from prepare, make sure you have that beautiful shoulders width apart stance. Okay. Get my heels on the edge of the tape. All right. So from here, shifting left, turn everything 45 degrees so that that right foot check is 45 degrees. Okay, now when you sink down, keep that knee in line. And then step that left foot straight out in front. So we still have two lines between our heels. Now bow stance. Okay, so I want you to check here before we move on. Turn your right foot to straight. Do you still have two lines between your feet? So we turn on the heel and we check that we have two lines and then we'll turn back to that 45 degrees. Did we have two lines? Yes, kind of. We're going to get it better, okay? Yeah, that looks like two lines. Okay, now shift some weight to that right leg. Why? So that we can turn our left leg and our body 45 degrees. So now both feet are going to this corner direction or to the 45 degrees, right? Because you're center of a square, so we're 45 degrees, okay? Now you shift to the left. Remember to find your balance and then pick up your right foot. We draw it in first, but then we step shoulder width apart. Very important, make this wide enough so that after you move your weight forward into your bow stance, if you check that left foot and turn it to straight on the heel, we still have that beautiful shoulder width apart or two line stance. Yes? I love that you're resetting to check footwork. That's so awesome. How are we doing? Want to do just the footwork again? Yes. I know the arms make it a lot, right? So let's really work on the footwork for a moment because the arms for today are going to be really easy, okay? So starting from prepare, shift to the left, turn on the right heel 45 degrees, check. Make sure you got a good starting position, sink down, and then step straight out. We can definitely look at this easily. Now move your weight forward and sit your torso vertical. Okay, shift some weight to that right leg. Now turn, leg, waist, and it would be arms, 45 degrees. Look, both feet should go to the same direction. Just a transition though, we're gonna shift that weight over to the left leg. We draw the right foot in first, then we step it back out nice and perpendicular to our floorboards if we have them, so that it's pointing to what would be 3 o'clock on the clock. Better? Yes, there it is. Let's do it one more time. All right. This is super important, okay? Remember, this is setting you up for the next three movements that are simply moving our weight forward and back. Okay, so we really want to nail this transition. All right, shoulders width apart, perfectly straight. Okay, shifting to the left. You can hold the arms out if you'd like, if that helps. Turn 45 degrees in that hug a tree position. Sink down. Check. How'd you do? Is the knee in line? Now step straight out and then turning bow stance, torso's vertical. Okay, now up to you. Hold the arms or check the legs. Shift your weight back and turn 45 degrees. Look, both feet are to the same direction, to that 45 degrees corner. You are center, you're in that square, right? Now shifting weight to your left. Draw your foot to center first, and then step it straight out or perpendicular to your floor, and then turn and move forward, bow stance. Now drop the arms, hold the legs, okay? If you turn on your left heel and you turn that foot to match your right foot to the straight direction, do you still have two lines between your feet or shoulder width apart? Yes? All right. Okay, now why so important? Because today's movement, all we're going to be doing is turning our waist and then shifting our weight back and turning our waist again. Okay, so we really want to make sure that we have a super solid footwork here, because the next movements we turn, then we square up, and then we come back, and then we move forward. So it's just simply going to be moving forward and back. Okay, now while we're doing this movement and we're moving forward and back, we really want to be aware that we're not going to be doing this. We're not going to be going up and down. Okay, now yes, I'm moving forward and back, right? So I'm moving forward and back. I want you to think about using your leg muscles, okay? So when we're just moving, yes, my knees are bending. Yes, I'm moving forward and back. I want you to move with intention, okay? So keeping both knees perfectly in line, I want you to really push with that back leg, and we're receiving it with our front. So we're pushing, and our front leg is pushing back to stop us. And it's the same thing when you move back. You're pushing back with the right leg, but the left leg is receiving it and kind of slowing you down. So that if you ever did this fast, you would have a stop point. It wouldn't be like you're just pushing so much with your back leg that you would fall forward. You want to think about a spring, okay? You're pushing from both sides. It's like a compression where you're pushing and receiving, or pushing back and then receiving in that back leg, okay? So we really want to use the muscles and especially keep them in line. So as we do this, we don't want to have our knees doing this, right? We don't want to just be free flowing and having our legs moving, okay? Keep them in line and move forward and back, okay? So we're keeping those knees, keeping our, what we call crotch rounded enough. We're using the inner thigh to hold the legs in this position so that the knees stay in line and that weight is then continuously centered on our foot. Instead of letting that knee turn in and then the weight spills to the arch, we're keeping it centered on our foot. Feels different, right? Yes. Okay. This is where you will take your practice to another level and your legs will really start to burn. Okay. And that's a good thing. Okay. I'll never forget, Master Yang said one time, when you do the form 3 times in a row, you get a very special feeling. So I decided I'm going to do the form 3 times in a row. It's a long form, okay? I said at the next time I saw him at the next seminar, I said, did you mean exhausted? Because I could barely walk. Okay. Okay. It is a lot of leg work. All right. It is going to challenge you if we are really keeping our legs in alignment. Okay. So I want you to think about this and get the most out of the balance aspect of our Tai Chi through the footwork. All right. So let's do it again. Let's really make sure we have the footwork nailed, and then we're going to do it all together with the arms and the legs, coordinating upper and lower halves. But first, let's just do it with that hug a tree position. Shifting your weight to the left. Turn 45 degrees. Sink down, knee in line with the foot direction, weight centered. Stepping straight out. Shift forward, torso's vertical. Okay, Shift enough weight back that you can turn on your left heel, everything 45 degrees. Check. Both to the corner or 45 degrees. Now shifting left, don't stand up, just draw that foot in and then step back out, shoulder width apart, and then really use your legs, ward off right. Oh, I saw you guys slow down and really use intention. That looks good. Looks really good. Okay, let's do it with the arms. Okay, let's see if we can keep that whole thing going with the arms. So shoulders width apart, perfectly straight. Okay, arms to the side, little piece of fruit underneath. Checking through that alignment list. And then we let the arms float up. Shoulder height, shoulder width, nice and long. Then let the upper arms go first, then the forearms and palms. Ward off left, shift to your left, and then turn. Left arm goes forward a little bit, right arm goes back. Reach out with that right arm, bend the left one underneath, and then close and step. Then lift the left arm and press down with the right for ward off left. Okay, shift enough weight so that you can turn, literally everything turns together. Now, rotate both arms, left palm down, right fingers. Then bend that right arm underneath as we close and step, and then hinge the right arm up for ward off right. Now I want you to check your position here. Elbow and knee in line, left fingers point to the center of your right forearm. We have about a 90-degree here. Our torso's open slightly, and we're looking to 3 o'clock, okay? So let's do what's next. Let's talk about what's next, okay? I'm gonna come close for a moment. Well, let me just demo regular, okay? So this is, our next movement is roll back. So from ward off right, you're gonna rotate both arms so that they're to the corner or that 45 degrees. Okay, now we're gonna shift our weight back, turn from our waist and go to the other corner or the other 45 degrees, okay? So I'm gonna show you again, nice and close, but then we're gonna break down the footwork, okay? So from here, all we're doing with the arms is we're rotating them both together, okay? And then we're gonna turn and the arms are gonna go down a little bit, okay? So first footwork, always footwork first, right? So if we hold our arms up in that hug a tree position, it's gonna be helpful, okay? So when we start in ward off right, we're not to straight, we're open, right? We're open towards that 45 degrees, okay? The first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take your torso. Remember, the hips are staying in line here. So we're turning from our middle body to straight. Okay, so we're very clearly to straight now. And the only thing you're gonna do next is you're gonna shift your weight back and you're gonna turn your torso back to 45 degrees. Now I want you to check. I want you to drop your arms. Don't change your footwork at all. Are both knees in line here? Do we have the weight centered on both feet? Okay, so we're not like this. We're not locked out so there's no weight. We still have a connection to that right foot, but most of the weight is in the back leg. Yes, all right. So now shift forward into your bow stance, knee over ankle, arms up. So remember, we're turned. And what are we gonna do? We're just gonna turn our torso to straight, and then we're gonna shift back and turn back to the corner for roll back. That's pretty simple, right? And it feels even better now that you have great footwork. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the arms from a different direction first. I just wanna show you some variety, okay? So we're here, okay? So remember we have those left fingers pointing to the right forearm, okay? We're gonna rotate both arms together. So we're rotating, again, everything together. And then we're gonna shift and we're gonna turn, okay? So let's break this down, okay? With the right arm, face your screen for a moment, okay? The right arm is in this nice hinged position, okay? You're going to, as you turn your waist to straight, you're going to rotate the whole arm. The elbow stays down until the palm is slightly seated. It's not going to be like a palm strike, but it's not going to be flat. So it's going to sit a little bit. Now from here, just turn and bring that arm to the other 45 degrees. Okay, so that's it. All right, so from here, nice starting position. Remember, elbows sinking down a little bit, okay? Turn from your waist. Turn your torso to straight and let your arm turn to 45 degrees. Okay, not too far. Check here, not too far. Have your torso flat to the screen right now, okay? So we're facing each other, okay? So start facing the screen, perfectly facing the screen with your arm facing me, okay? Torso's a little bit open, okay? Now, turn so that your torso is straight towards your screen, but your arm went to the 45 degrees. That's it, okay? So it's not as big as we think, all right? Then from here, it's gonna be a little bit of a bigger turn, but not much. Yes, that was it. Okay, let's do it again. This is why we're facing each other, okay? So really face your screen, okay? Turning your torso open, okay? Now, turn your torso so it's straight to your screen, and then the hand is 45 degrees off of that. Yes. Now, turning back, and the arm comes with it and goes down a little bit. Yes. Nailed it. Okay. That was it, okay? This movement is one where we'll see a little bit too much, so we really want to wrangle this movement in, okay? A little bit can go a long way. All right, so now when we're doing the full ward off, this is what it looks like, right? We have our hinged right arm and we have our left palm, okay? So now we're gonna drop the right arm, we're just gonna do the left, okay? The left arm, it's showing grabbing again. So it's doing this turning or rotating, okay? So we're starting again with that angled torso, okay? And we're going to turn the arm as we go to the corner, okay? So you're gonna turn towards your right, okay? So you're turning and you're rotating that arm and you're keeping that beautiful space under the armpit, okay? Now you're just gonna turn and it goes down a little bit. That's it, okay? So it's not a lot of movement here, okay? So the thing to note is that these arms together, okay, we have this space, okay? This space, I wish I could hold it here, is about a fist distance between your fingers, okay? So not too far, okay? Keep them kind of relatively close, okay? So now, rotating to your right, turn the arms together. Okay, nice. So your torso should be straight to the screen now. Your left fingertips still point to the center of your right forearm. And we have our rollback position. Now from here, we're gonna go down a little bit and just turn from your waist. Now remember, this might not be as pretty as the other side, but we wanna mirror each other, okay? We wanna do our best, right? We're always challenging our mind. So, right arm, left hand, torso's open, okay? Rein in the turn, okay? So a little bit goes a long way, okay? So we're rotating both arms together. Yes. Now turn and go back. Beautiful. Okay. So now we're going to do it facing the normal direction. Okay. So turning, we're just going to stand for a second. Okay. So we're here. Ward off right, roll back. So we're open towards the 45 degrees. Now you're going to turn to straight and rotate both arms together. Perfect. Now turn from your waist and let your arms go to that other corner or 45 degrees. How'd you do? I think you did it. Okay, let's add it with the legs, okay? So this is our movement for today, okay? So this is it. This is what we're going to focus on, okay? So stepping out, nice bow stance. Okay, I want you to give me a beautiful, beautiful bow stance here. Okay, remember, elbow and knee is in line. How do we get that? By keeping our torso turned. Okay, left hand is relatively close to the center of your right forearm. Okay, turning. Both arms rotate. Your torso goes where? Just straight. Nice. Okay, now shift your weight, turn from your waist, and let your arms go down as they follow the turning of your waist. So the arms go to that 45 degrees. They actually match what? Your left foot, right? That left foot is going 45 degrees to the corner, so that right arm is actually going to be going to the same direction. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. Because we want to make sure, we got all these things if we're into the details. Okay. But we want to enjoy the flow. Oh, that looks great. Nice. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And I love that I'm seeing space underneath your arms. That is so important to our practice. Okay. So let's do it a few times. Okay. Nice bow stance, right leg forward. Ward off right, elbow and knee in line, torso's open, left fingertips point to the center of the forearm. We're looking ahead. So we're going to turn from our torso, rotate both arms together, and we're looking towards our right hand, towards the corner, 45 degrees. Okay, now shift your weight back, turn from your waist, and let your arms go to that other 45 degrees or corner following the left foot. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. What's puzzling? What do you got?
You're starting to read my body language. I don't even think you can see my face, which was going, what?
I saw this.
No, it's great. But other people should have a chance to ask questions too. I had a sudden awareness that my arm actually went 90 degrees from 145 to another.
Yes.
Torso only went
45.
well, yeah. So
yes.
There's something that's not following something completely.
No. That is totally correct. Okay. So when we're here, I'm going to the other direction so you can see the torso. Okay. Our torso is only going from here to here. So if our arm is locked into position, okay, let me face you. Okay. I'm not going to mirror because I'm talking through the specifics. Okay. So what happens is the torso is straight. Okay. If I don't move my arms at all and I only go for my torso, the arms are going to end up where? Straight. Okay. So my arms didn't move at all. I literally just held my arms in that same position and didn't move them. Okay. So it's not exactly that the arms don't change at all. The arms need to float down and move a little bit. Okay. So the meaning of rollback is grabbing someone's wrist and controlling their elbow. Okay. So you're taking your opponent's wrist and elbow and you're pressing down so your opponent turns. Now that is this pressing down. So your opponent is going to end up like this. Okay, going towards the ground. So when we're doing this, it's not just going to be a turn a little bit. Okay, we're going to turn 45 degrees. So our arms are going to have a very slight up and down. Okay, it does not take much of this up. So if I exaggerate, it's this. Okay, it's up and down. If it's exaggerated, okay. Why do we not talk about it too much? Because then I'm going to see this, okay? This movement, when timed properly, all of these things take a very, very small amount of pressure when it's coordinated, okay? So if you have anyone that is willing to let you play around, okay? This is a good thing to feel, because if you're just holding someone's wrist and you're just doing this, they're not going to move. Okay. It's the same thing with ward off right. If I'm holding someone's wrist and I'm just doing this, okay, they're not going to move. It takes up and down together for these movements to work, okay? So when we're doing this, it's not just a static, arms don't change. The arms are going to change a little bit, but it's not that noticeable. So if you watch my left hand, okay, you're going to see it disappear. So see it go from this to this to this, okay? Tiny little movements, all right? But that is a great assessment. So our arms are going from 90 degrees, but our waist is only going 45. So we have to coordinate those two things together, okay? Yeah, so the problem is over rotating sometimes. And that's what happens in the ward off right turn to the transition, where a lot of people will go too far and then go back. Okay.
Can you do the left?
The left hand is just turning to rotate. Okay. So it's just going to turn. Okay. So if I mirror you, so face your screen for a second. Okay. All right. So this one's turning. So left hand is turning, and that right arm is going to rotate the whole thing together. Yes. Then as we turn, it's a little tiny up and down. Perfect. Okay, let's do it again. Facing each other. Yep. You got it. Turn that right arm just a little bit more so that the yes. Feel how your elbow sunk down a little bit? Okay. That's super key, because if we're like this, we're getting that tension. We want to relax. All right. Yeah. Shake it out. Yep. All right. So from here, rotating to that right corner. Perfect. Now just turn and bring the arms across to the other corner. Feel better? Okay, let's do it with the legs now. All right. So from ward off right, roll back. So we rotate, left palm goes to the sky, right hand is kind of seated. Perfect. Now turning, arms 90 degrees, waist 45, so that we're going to the other corner with that little up and down. Yes. Okay, let's do it again. So just shifting into your bow stance, ward off right. Okay, rotating both arms, left palm to the sky, and then shift your weight back, turn from your waist for roll back. Doing good? All right, so remember, next week's movement is only going to be another variation of this. So next week, we're going to go into press, okay? So we're going to have plenty of opportunity to work on these details again, okay? Sometimes I combine roll back and press into one class because it gives us a nice sequence, but I want us to focus in on all of your questions and really make you feel confident and comfortable with this portion of the form. No, this is really important, right? First of all, there's that Zoom thing of being on the screen and how hard it is to learn that transition from ward off left to ward off right, okay? The second portion of this is within the section, this first section of the form, this is the only time we see this sequence of movements called grasping the bird's tail, which is including ward off left, ward off right, roll back, press, and push, okay? All of those movements are one greater movement called grasping the bird's tail. Grasping the bird's tail is repeated multiple times throughout the entire form, okay? So once we get really comfortable with this set of movements, it's kind of like a breath of fresh air within the form. So when we're learning the new sequence, it's like, oh, we're back here. And you get this chance to relax because you really locked it in this section one class, okay? So that's why I really want you to feel super comfortable and confident with this portion of the form, all right? So any other questions before we practice one more time? All right, let's do it. I love seeing you back up ready to go. Let's do it, okay? So from prepare. All right, shoulders width apart, nice. Head lifting up, shoulders down, waist relaxed. Now let those arms float up for opening. And then pressing down, upper arms, forearms, and palms. Shifting to the left, turn 45 degrees. Ward off left, reach that right arm out, bend the left arm underneath and step straight out as you close the arms. Then pressing down and lifting up for ward off left. Ward off right, shift your weight to the right leg, turn 45 degrees on your left heel. Rotate the arms, so left palm faces down, right hand's gonna bend underneath as we close and step. Then hinge the right arm up for ward off right. Left palm is relatively close. Roll back, rotate, left palm to the sky, torso is square. Shift your weight back, turn from your waist, arms go down, circle a little bit for roll back. Yes, looks good. All right, you want to do it one more time before we close class? Yes, let's do it. All right, so prepare. All right, opening, rotate and lift. And then float the arms down. Ward off left, shift left, turn on your right heel. Right arm reaches out, left arm bends, close the arms and step, and then lift up and press down. Okay, shift to your right. Turn everything, leg, waist, and arms 45 degrees. Rotate both arms so that right arm can bend underneath and the arms close as you step. Then hinging that right arm up, we press down with the left palm for ward off right. Okay, rotate both arms to the corner as you turn your torso to straight, left palm to the sky. Shift your weight back, turn from your waist for roll back. Awesome. Yes. Okay. So you have your mission for this week. We added one more movement. You are doing great. Remember, give yourself grace. Tai Chi is not easy, okay? 5 minutes a day. Practice this 3 times in a row. Boom, you're done. All right? All right. Thank you so much, everyone. It's such a pleasure having you here in class. Thank you.
Thank you.